Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube channel video. You're here with your channel host GBHL James
and GBHL Jamie, and it's another week of Speak, Friend and Question.
56! And we're back together again.
Yay!
So it might be a slightly shorter video. Hey, last time we were together we got it dead on an hour.
It was.
How good are we?
Spectacular.
Now you might notice when you look into our eyes, there aren't eyes, there are just black gaping holes. That's because it's proper early in the morning. Yeah. Jamie, what are you doing today?
I'm travelling up to London to meet Damien and Tom later on to get some content recorded and attend Fog on the Finchley Downs.
Fog on the Finchley Downs, 350 point tournaments in North London. I'm gutted I can't go.
Yeah, I'm taking the...
it's a choice, but...
Well, I'm taking a sort of homage to you. All infantry Rohan.
A homage?
Homage.
A homage?
Yeah.
With a, you know, big skull and crossbones over it. What are you taking, Jamie Giblin?
I'm taking all infantry Rohan.
Oh my days.
Yes, I am.
Oh my eyes. They're down here next to me actually. Yeah. I've given them a little bit of the Rohan blessing. You know, giving them a bit of the rousing speech, you know. Death! I've done all of that, you know, so hopefully they'll do alright. But you're literally looking to throw and spear your way to victory.
Yep, yeah.
Pro spears aren't something I would take. Yeah. But you really rate them, don't you?
I think it'll be sort of a bit of a gimmicky force. I think if I come up against something like a defense 7 dwarven block, I'll be like, well, this game's over with. Just advance, just retreat.
I think if you can get the numbers in there, then it becomes.
My plan is to focus all the fire onto one thing. Like instead of hero, heroic accuracy.
Come on, lads! Heroic accuracy for a road spear. A 5+ move.
With 23 throwing spears.
Wow, so a whole 7 or 8 of those might hit.
Yeah. Then like 4 might get through, 3 6s, boom! Hero dead.
I'm glad that you're banking on that tic-tac. I think it could work quite well. And also you're going to get a load of content film, which is very exciting for the channel.
We're going to try and get as much of the Journey Book Fellowship scenarios done as possible.
Which I'm very much looking forward to watching that while I'm doing the washing up. Because there's been a lot of watching me talking to myself lately, which is not good for my sanity. Okay, so first up we've got Ross Diggle, and he's put, here's my question for next week. Why are you up so late posting to YouTube on a school night? Well, the thing, obviously, the longer the video is, it becomes a massive file, and of course I was doing it on a Sunday in the evening anyway, thinking, well, speak friend and question, we've not got together, let's get it done. So yeah, it was left uploading overnight, so it probably ended up at like 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Something like that. So that's why Ross is going to hopefully be featuring in our
Fallen Realms week, or the remainder of it.
Because he actually brings a different force we don't get to see.
Yeah, he brings a bit of Canned, a bit of Easterlings, is it?
Yep. So I'm hoping, no pressure, but you know, not necessarily the most competitive list in the world.
No.
He's gonna beat me now! He's gonna beat me now, but I'm actually looking forward to using the Isengard and playing him for the first time, so that should be good. So who we got next?
We got Jason Province. He says, hi guys, great job. This is my first question for Speak Friend and Question.
What's it have to do, Jamie?
Oh, now you're going to ask a question every single week.
Because you are
in the loop.
In the loop. In the loop.
Looking at Radagast and Gandalf the White as a whole, or even Gandalf the Grey. Gandalf. Gandalf. Which one do you think is better? As a whole?
Well, as a whole, then Gandalf the White.
But then you're paying the points for Gandalf the White.
He's expensive. He's awesome. He is awesome.
He is really cool. Gandalf the Grey, I think, is the best value for points out of those 3.
I'd agree. Also
want to say you guys got me into the hobby about 2 months ago and wish I could travel from Missouri in the USA to come play a few games for Rohan.
Come on, you can do it now. Come on.
No.
Jamie, what do you like to take to tournaments?
Wood elves.
No! Come on, you have the chance.
I like to take wood elves.
Jamie likes to take all infantry Rohan! Brilliant, nice to see another Rohan player, and it's great that we got you into the hobby because that's what we're here for, supporting our Hobbit hobby. Yeah,
getting you guys involved.
So thank you very much, Jason.
Oh,
Jamie's showing off. Jamie's showing off his HP, which failed us last time.
Yep.
It failed us last time.
He's making up for it now though.
We were there and I was slating it. I was like, HP's rubbish, yeah, you would get yourself your MacBook Air like me. But he's now just showing off and he's doing all this thing on his screen like with his fingers that you can only do on your iPhones.
Yeah.
So I'm mega impressed. So we've got Josh T, he's put, hi James and Jamie, thanks for answering my question last week, absolute pleasure. My question this week is what are your plans for the channel for this year and will we be adding any more team members? Thanks for all your hard work, Josh.
I think it's just to continue
To survive.
Yeah.
That has been one thing which has been quite different. We've never struggled for ideas for content.
No, it's just getting the content.
It's been getting it done. So the content that you're seeing at the moment, like the source for reviews, we've wanted to do that for so long.
That's been in plan since Desolation and Smog Week.
Yeah.
Because we did that review and we were like, we should do all the books. It's like,
we should.
1 year later, let's do it.
Yeah, but that's pretty much been what it has. So it's we try and get what we can in.
Yeah.
We want to do more like the journey book scenarios and actually play through the whole thing, don't we?
I think it'd be great if eventually we could also do Thorin's companies, like all the little scenarios from like the beginner's stuff going up into the big.
That'll be a trip down to Damien's.
Yeah. John or Thorin's company.
Yeah, can we get that sorted? No, so a lot more of that kind of stuff. I don't think we'll ever be short for ideas, and also coming up with sort of new formats. Of course, we've really promoted battle companies this year, which has gone huge as a result.
Which has done really, really well.
Take full credit for that, Ghibli.
See?
Middle-earth's Deadliest Warbands was really good, so we'd like to do.
I'll take credit for that as well.
You can take credit for that.
Thanks.
But obviously the highlight of all of our content was the bedtime barrier.
We should do like a year in review.
What do you mean, Charles? About
have
you unplugged me? No.
You've not switched it on.
Amateur. That's why we were in the dark. Okay. Anyway, they might not notice it. That might be we looking at the screen. I was thinking it's dark in here, isn't it? So yeah, we've got lots and lots of content for you. In terms of adding any more team members,
see what the future holds, I guess.
Yeah.
Bringing Damien on board was an easy decision, and then Tom was a very tough one.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, not a single hobby blog from that man.
Yeah, I know.
What's that all about? Just sits there and drinks tea in some show called The Palantir. You know what I mean? But he's going to be involved in some more content obviously this weekend, which is really good. We like having those guys involved. So, crap, I'm going to leave it to you. I'm sacked from HP duty.
Next up is Lixation. Is that a new name? Hey guys, just wondering, in the films, which orcs did you like more? The Lord of the Rings trilogy portrayed them as somewhat weak and cowardly, excluding Gothmog, while the Hobbit trilogy made them almost more terrifying. Thanks.
Yeah, I think. Well, when they started off with the Fellowship, have you seen the extended?
Yes, I've seen the extended.
Where they talk about one of the issues that they had with how the orcs were being trained.
I've seen the appendices.
Oh, have you not?
No.
I'll give it to you. I'll lend it to you. Hours of fun. Yeah. Hours of fun while you're painting. Yeah. When you don't want to watch me talking to myself. So in appendices they talk about how the orcs originally, the stunt guys who were training extras, etc. to go and be orcs, they started off very much being like stooped and low, and they had this kind of weird thing, and I think Peter Jackson ended up calling it the full nappy or the full diaper move or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said it was anything but scary, and they started off like that because what is an orc until you you've got different interpretations of it. I mean, the latest orcs are a bit. I'm not a huge fan of sort of the look and the aesthetic of the Hunter.
Yeah, those orcs are very tribal, aren't they? Then. Yeah. I guess it's a way to distinguish the Gundabad orcs from the Mordor orcs that we've seen.
Yeah, the Gundabad orcs look pretty. And the Mordor orcs did as well in the last movie. He obviously made a big effort to make them look like the elite from Mordor. So they look pretty cool.
It's a generic orc.
But yeah, I think as the movies have gone on, especially one of Peter Jackson's issues with Return of the King was the Uruk-hai was so good in Two Towers. How can you then go back to like the orcs from? I hope you liked and appreciate that impression, by the way, from the Fellowship. So there we go. Was that the whole question?
Yeah, you want Chris Lee now?
Okay, so we've got Chris Lee. He's put, hey guys, quick question. What are your least favourite heroes and warriors? Least favourite, like, really not interested in ever using?
Arad. For me to use. Arad just bore me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's like if I wanted a man force, I'd take Rohan Gondor or something good.
Yeah. I would probably say it's probably something evil. Maybe
You vote?
like Dalamir or something like that.
I've played with goblins so long. I really hate goblins.
Yeah, goblins don't particularly interest me, I have to say. I've never ever thought, ooh, you know, maybe I'll do a little bit of a goblin force. Goblins have never really ticked the boxes for me.
I remember I used to really rate and like painting my goblins and getting a goblin force. I've suddenly just through too much use, I was like, well, I don't like him anymore.
Yeah. I guess that can happen. Get a bit of sort of faction fatigue, I suppose. Yeah. I guess we've got enough bits and pieces to be cracking on with for us not to get that going forward. What's the next up? Oh, nice big one for you, Jamie. Must be made up.
Hi guys, how has your week been?
How's your week been?
It's been alright. I've been quiet at work, so it's been nice and easy. Been kept busy.
Been busy at work, so it's been nice and hard at my end. Been very busy. January.
Yeah. Gym month.
Won't last long.
Thanks for your advice on trying to buy the source books. It is annoying not being able to get them easily, even though I'm willing to pay for them. But I will take your advice on board, and I suppose I'll have to persevere. I assume that's buying from eBay and looking and trading.
Yeah, he was asking if there's any kind of like free resource, and I was like,
no, unfortunately. Most of the time I play SBG. It's by myself, playing as both teams, which is annoying because I know what tactics I'm going to use next turn. But that, along with your channel, have helped me to learn the rules quite well, but there are still some things I am unsure about. So this week I have a few minor rules-based questions that I need clearing up that I can't find myself from the rulebook or the internet. Firstly, does a banner bearer benefit from his own banner if he's in a fight by himself? Yes, he does. Second, if a monster hurls an enemy into enemy models involved in a combat, but does not hit friendly models in the combat, does the whole combat fall over like Sorcerer's Blast, or just the enemy models? Just the enemy models. So your guys will get double strikes against them. Third, I know models with hand weapons can only use one type of special strike, but if someone has a hand weapon and a specified two-handed weapon included or purchasable, can they make special strikes with both of them, potentially giving two special strikes available to them, i.e. dwelling from the Goblin Town set? I say yes.
What does it say?
If
yeah, if they have like hand weapons. Yeah. So it's like Axeman Lost and Ark.
Well, they can either go two-handed and piercing strike, or they can feint them with their dagger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So dwelling can bash, or he can go single-handed with his axes.
Daniel, you're hot on the questions this week. Yeah. Good man.
Lastly, what are the rules for fighting in the dark? Mentioned in the rules Cave Dweller special rule, and when does this apply? In specific scenarios or specific terrain features? Thanks a lot, guys. Looking forward to some more awesome videos from you. Sorry for questions were a tad long. Have a great week.
It's a pleasure. Good to have you here.
The darkness rules are really odd. They're used in the Moria scenarios. And that's where Cast Wine and Light sort of becomes useful in a different sense. I think you can only see up to 12-inch range.
Right.
So bows and things have got a 12-inch range because you can't see far enough. Yeah, I think that's it. I think you can only target things within 12 inches of you.
So something
and Cast Wine and Light I think extends that to 18.
It doesn't come up in like tournaments or anything, unless it's
it's an order.
Something. You could do it with your friends and stuff if you're playing with them, or when you're doing your little practice game. When you're playing with yourself there, you could always chuck that in there for something a little bit different. So next up we've got Jorit Vrend.
Jorit, I reckon that's going to be Jorit Vrend, not Jorit.
Hi guys, love your vids, but here is my first question. No, I'm in the loop. You're trapped forever. What would your ultimate 750 point Rohan foot army be to defend a fortress? My apologies for my English, it's not my first language. Cheers.
English is fine.
English is fine. Better than mine sometimes.
Yeah. Lots of infantry.
You can go two ways with infantry Rohan, can't you?
Spam.
You can spam cheap.
For defending a fortress or the throwing spears.
Yeah, for defending that's well worth it.
Stand still.
Come on. Standing still, exactly. So, half of them are going to hit, which is much better. You could either spam it out, just get loads of cheap troops with the throwing spears. Obviously get your outriders for your bows, do your bits of shooting there. Because you can get a lot of models with foot Rohan.
You can.
Or if you want to go the other way, you can of course Royal Guard it up and have something which is a bit tougher to crack, get a banner in there, do that kind of thing. But of course you'll have less troops. So thank you very, very much. Next up we've got Ryan Hobbit Hinch.
It says, hi James and Jamie, are Rivendell Knights better on their own as an army, or are they more competitive allied to another faction? If so, what faction lends themselves to this kind of list? Thanks guys, Ryan. Well, I think at tournaments they've been successful as both. So Rivendell Knights are a great little force on their own, very competitive, or they make great allies. James Braun's had success on their own, as has Ed actually.
Yep.
And as part of a allied force, my friend Harry Moore's done a good one, and they allied well with the Rangers and Rohan because of the 100% bow limits available to them, and the whole force can then shoot.
Yeah, which is really, really good. They work in both ways. I've used them as allies, and I've used them as Sons of Ale. I came third in that tournament.
Yeah.
Came third in that tournament, and
you got to run past some dwarves and reconnoitre.
That was a mega tough game versus you.
On a 24-inch board.
It was psychologically challenging. It was mentally tough having to go up against you. I'm thinking, what if I lost this? I would never live it down, ever.
There's no way you could lose that, possibly.
I know. Next up we've got George Downing. He's put, hi guys, thanks for answering my question, James. And it's my New Year's resolution to attend at least 2 tournaments this year. Good man. Good man. Where are you based? You have to let us know next week for the question. A question about Goblin Drubbers. This one's for you. Yeah. Firstly, would you say they're worth the points? And secondly, do they count as a banner into the death scenario? I don't think they count as a banner.
I don't think they count as a banner into the death scenario, you know. It's just unfortunately because they're not a banner, they're a drum.
Yeah, because it's like heroes that count as a banner.
Yeah.
Don't into the death.
Yeah. And I'd say they're not worth their points. If you're going to go for one of them, you go for the Gundabad Black Shield drum because it's 30 points cheaper. Has the exact same stats, but if the drummers are slain, they can pass it on to another Gundabad Black Shield.
Right, okay.
Like a banner can be. And that one can be moved and played, whereas the Goblin drum is stationary.
Right, okay.
The Goblin drum's just awful.
Yeah.
It's an awful one.
There you go. Don't use it. Don't use it. So who we got next?
Next up we got Jack Pedley. He says, hey guys, my question is, do you think there'll be any new models? As personally, I believe the Hobbit SBG should be in its prime as the Battle of 5 Armies has just come out. There are tons of things which could be done. We've got to hope so. Get those Iron Hill dwarves, some more orcs.
Not been anything so far in January, has there?
No Gundam. Just an evil faction. Or expand on Azog's Hunters.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that there was still some more to come.
Dane.
Because it's been missing out on a few opportunities, on some sales there, you know.
Definitely. Dane on a big pig.
But then again, we don't know how sales of other stuff have gone, so... but you would imagine that there should be a little bit more of the evil, and there should be some of the Iron Hill stuff at the very minimum. At the very minimum. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
Maybe some of those weird troll stuff, but again, we don't know when they were in the design process. You know, were they just something that was chucked in quite late on?
Looks it, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah, let's have some trolls. Let's put spikes on the legs and hooks in their eyes. Yeah, that sounds cool. Legolas, you can ride one of them. That'd be good.
Oh no! I'm really sorry, Billy. I'm really, really sorry. I've come to Jamie's house this morning and I've forgotten your Free People's book.
He's a bad person.
I can't believe it. Right, I will give it to Jay Finnegan, and Jay Finnegan will take it to Huddersfield. In fact, text Jay Finnegan now and tell him to harass me. Bad. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I put it on the table last night and everything. That's my laptop. Really sorry, pal. It's your question next. That's why I just remembered. Oh, you better.
Yeah, well, he'll know because he'll come to me on Sunday
and he'll go
before he watch this. He'll be like, Jimmy, got my People's book. And I'm like, oh, watch Speak for an Question.
But at least he could see my genuine devastation.
Yeah.
You know, James just wasn't bothered.
No, he's sold it on eBay.
I've not done that.
Yeah, it's your turn to read.
Part painted minis at the attack of Ravenhill Day at Warhammer World? Don't know what minis he was looking at, as all the minis were fully painted, and given how little time Jay has had to paint them, they were painted superbly. As for the terrain, it was at Games Workshop, so of course it was just going to be Games Workshop terrain, as that's what they sell. Anyway, thanks for the answer. I'm sorry to add I added more to your unorganised schedule. My question this week, has Saturdays become no content day, as we don't seem to get any content between the Palantir and Speak Friend and Question a lot of weeks? That is lies. You had a battle report. not last Saturday, Saturday before.
Yeah.
It's meant to be battle report day Saturday.
Yeah, but it's just tough to get them in. But that should be gone from now on.
Yeah. We just need a couple of block days where we can film more than one bit of content.
Yeah, because for the past couple of weeks, even 2 months or so, it's been meet up, record to be fan question. Do you have time for anything else? No. Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you've been moving house, you've been busy with work, I've been busy with Biotic Fit, you know, so...
Which should hopefully all be calming down a little bit on my end now, though.
Yes. And I'm coming into February soon, so that should help with not being January. It's a very busy time at the end of the year, because you've got to get prepared for this time of year. Because it's off that the rest of your business survives the rest of the year. So yeah, expect battle reports. Stephen, I think they're having a discussion here about what was at the Games Workshop tournament. Because I think Stephen Gill had said something like there was some part painted minis or something. But it was very, very good, that Warhammer World, and it was Jay. I didn't realise it was Jay specifically who'd organised that off his own back. So well done, Jay. It sounds like it was a really good event. And you know what? If it inspires one person who wouldn't have normally played The Hobbit to get into it, then it's a success. Yeah. So well done.
I see what's to do with something you were talking about last week. For gaming mats, you can always try Matter War from Antenuctis.
It looks like some horrible STI.
Yeah, it sounds like a disease, doesn't it?
Antennositis.
Antennositis Workshop. That sounds awful.
That does sound awful.
Also check.
I'm not sure I want antennositis.
Sounds like you.
He was asking where we get. He said, you know, the green mat. And you guys like you can't get it from Games Workshop anymore. But
apparently there's one on eBay as well.
Ooh, they go for quite a bit though now, I believe.
Yeah, they're good quality.
Have you got one?
Nope.
I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, been on eBay.
If anybody would like to send Jamie a green battle mat, you don't do this enough.
No.
I do it all the time.
Next up, we've got 19 Mark F91. I don't take that because that wasn't a question.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what's the quickest you've won or lost a game? Have you ever heard of someone being reduced to 50 or 25% in the first turn? Thanks guys, and happy strategy battle gaming. I'll
come out with a really sort of philosophical answer.
I think
sometimes I've won games before I've even got on the table. And well, technically you can do, because you can look at what's opposite you, and you can look at the scenario and think, that's a good example of what we mentioned before.
Go back to it. We were playing Reconnoiter on a, what was it, like 36 by 24 inch table. This is a table here, everyone.
it wasn't that big. It basically, a Son of Ale could get off it in 2 turns.
Yeah. I think it's just a cavalry. Oh no, cavalry couldn't. Could they?
No, cavalry couldn't quite. I think it was 24 inches that way, and 36 that way.
Yeah. I had five dwarves. You had, what was it, 10?
I had a mixture. Yeah, I had 5 Sons of Ale.
5 Sons and
5 Rivendell Knights.
5 Knights and a cap. Oh, 1 captain, 4, is it?
I had captain and I had Aowen as well.
Yeah. So yeah, we were just looking at the board.
Oh, I had Aowen again.
Yeah, Aowen for free mine. Just looking at the board and the layout, it was like, so if you run down, I've got my 1 warband that comes on, and you've got 2.
To be fair, there was some like big rocks in the middle that could have channeled me. I was like, oh gosh, can I get out of that gap on that side?
Yeah, well, your model could fit through, so you could. Yeah, but should have well moved them.
I know. I did go for a bathroom break.
I should have taken advantage of that. Cheated. Made it a fair game. No, just look at it. In 2 turns, you get 5 bottles off. That then draw. Well, that wins it for you.
That's probably one of the quickest games.
Yeah, 2 turns, wasn't it?
It was 2 turns.
Oh, it was 3 turns because I think I managed to throw an axe at someone that delayed the advance for.
That's right. You put someone right out there, didn't you, in the middle to try and tempt me. I was like, no, sat that off, I'll run away. It's usually game. I tell you what's usually quick. Seize the prize is usually pretty quick.
Yeah, that can be won.
Can be won very quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, have you ever heard of someone being reduced to 50 or 25% in 1 turn, in first turn?
Not in the first turn. Maybe in like the 3rd. Probably in my time of playing games it's happened, but I can't recall anything.
I can't recall. I can imagine if someone's got like a hero and they start up dead close and they're dead unlucky.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Usually those things are survivable enough to at least last two or three turns of peril. So next up we've got Toby Mennell. He's put, thanks for answering my last question, absolute pleasure. This week I'm wondering, what would you use for a fluffy Ugluk's Raiders list? Obviously Ugluk and Grishnak with Scouts and Orcs, and Mahur with his Marauders. But would Lurtz be out of place? Rasku? Yeah, they'd be out of place.
Yeah, they would be.
Everything you said before is perfect for a fluffy Ugluk's Raiders list. Also, I recall that the Orcs of the North were present. Could I ally Morio for this? Thanks again for the great videos and fetching your sourcebook for me. Thanks for your great videos and for fetching your sourcebook for me.
Was it because we went and got something maybe?
I need to get one before they go out of production. Toby, are you taking your sourcebook somewhere?
No.
Is he doing what I do to subscribers? Like, is he trying to get something for free here? Like, I don't know. I can't remember that. Orcs of the North. Yeah, I guess you could use one. You do what you want. Yeah. Maybe use some Angmar.
Yeah, I think Angmar's more Orcs of the North, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. Wow, look who it is.
It's the bald eagle himself, Jeremy Smith. He says, sorry for dropping out the loop as of late. Holidays, in-laws visiting, and loads of snow.
Hang on, you don't let us get away with it.
Quality's dropping on comments here.
Yeah. Ooh, poor commenting from Jeremy Smith.
Yeah.
You've really let your standard down. What are you trying to pull? He loves a bit of banter.
How do you feel about mixing Lord of the Rings profiles with the Hobbit profiles, i.e. Gil-galad with Thorin Oakenshield leading some Knights of Rivendell? Well, that can't happen, but... Yeah, I'm not fussed if people use the Lord of the Rings models and the Hobbit models in the same force.
Yeah,
it's fine. I mean, it's all part of the same system, so I'm happy with it. Or mixing models from different ages. Is this allowed in a tournament if you were the TO? Yeah, it's fine to do. You've got all the models at your disposal. It's typically frowned upon, and people don't tend to do it anyway. Like, you don't take Elendil and Aragorn.
No, not really. Some people do, don't they? But it doesn't tend to happen. I think that's the thing with Lord of the Rings players most of the time. People will try and find
a reason why.
They try and find a theme, or even if you can't. So like, let's say for example, so Eowyn the Young. The times that I took Eowyn the Young, I didn't have to. I could have just put Eowyn the Young and Eowyn, and not been bothered. But there's part of it that does bother you as a Lord of the Rings player. So you're like, okay, Shield Maiden of Rohan.
It's not actually Eowyn, it's just a profile that I'm going to use.
Yeah, it's a profile, she's a Shield Maiden. And
so how you justify cheese in your head? It's like, no, it's not Legolas.
You can always find a justification.
It's not Legolas, it's a Rohan King's Huntsman who's really good. It's not Legolas. It's
just a really good looking Rohan, pointy ears, right? Who can,
It's the basis for the elf helm.
yeah. You could well do that. Of course you could.
By the way, how is the weather? It's kind of foggy today.
Freezing.
It's cold.
You
went to the lake during winter. The Lake of England.
The one lake.
The one lake of England.
Well, it's the Lake District.
Yeah.
Which implies that there are more. But yeah, did go to that. I took Jane there for a birthday.
Wasn't it a bit cold?
It was freezing, but I had multiple layers on. I was prepared. Had a hat on and everything. In fact, I had the hat on that you could see in the last Speak Friendly question.
Keep up the good work, loving the variety of content and shows. First Ager Smith signing off.
Oh.
And then next up we've got an actual bald eagle.
I think this must, hang on, are you, is this some kind of like parody account for Jeremy Smith? Bald eagle. He's put, hi, yet another great video. I have to ask this question. I've got the new Thranduil model, and when I was cutting it out of the sprue, somehow the horse's tail came off. So I was wondering if I could get a tip or some advice on how to get it back onto the model. Thanks, Bald Eagle. P.S. Elves rule.
Plastic glue. If it's fine cast, I'll put it back on. Or take it to GW, maybe. They might be a bit.
I might do. I mean, what you could do, because it's a reasonably fragile part, you could, if you've got a, I was going to say, if you've got a pin vise, which you can get from any hobby store, you want to get the tiny little bit, and you want to do a little bit of a pinhole on one side, a little bit of pinhole on the other, and you want to get a little paper clip and snip it and glue it in, and then pin it in and glue it, and then that should be quite a secure hold.
Check on YouTube for pinning tutorials. There's loads out there. There's a really good one on
Saturday's content. I'm well doing that.
There's a really good one on. Oh, I forgot his name. Dom Hill.
This is this week's The Scouring.
of YouTube.
That's right.
If you go onto Dom Hill's channel, I think he's still linked on the sidebar for us on the YouTube.
Where are you, Dom?
My channel page. And check out, I think it's his replacing spears will give you the idea of how to pin something, because he does a great little tutorial on doing it and really sort of shows you what you need to do.
Yeah, so go check that out, or wait out for future content, because I do have a pin bias and I have some horses' ankles to fix.
Right.
And that's a very typical problem.
Yeah.
A lot of us have it.
Next up is Liam F. He says, just to clarify my question about Galadriel last week.
Can I just say, do you know what he suggested?
No.
Galadriel with an axe, and whether, because she can't, I mean, my thing was that you don't want to be that person anyway, but which is my cop-out answer because I don't know the real answer, but can you give her an axe? Because she's unarmed, she counts as being, she never counts as being unarmed, but she is unarmed, so therefore she doesn't have a hand weapon. Galadriel.
The new one?
Yeah.
She's unarmed, but she never counts as being unarmed.
Yeah, so you can't glue a axe on. She can't spell. She doesn't have a hand weapon.
She is unarmed.
Exactly, that's what I said.
Yeah, she is.
I'm so glad I got that right.
Yeah, I haven't got any intention of giving her a hand weapon, but as her profile doesn't have the unarmed special rule. Oh, he's talking about the war aspect one.
Right, okay.
Just the war aspect rule that says she never counts as being unarmed. Would she be able to have one as it stands? Oh, is he talking about the new one? I don't know.
He said just the war aspect rule says she never counts as being unarmed. Right, okay.
But if she is, yeah. Because that doesn't really feel right to me. It makes me question weapon swaps with other models. Cues, sliding scale, hand gestures.
That's off the scale.
Yeah,
you don't want to give Galadriel an axe.
No, don't be silly. Even I snuffed my nose up at that one. Turn my nose up at that.
You don't. Anyway, new Galadriel's awesome. Anyway.
Yeah, just give her a flail.
I just based on her profile, it just meant, well, in fact, not just based on her profile, but her in a movie, it inspired me to get myself what I think is the nicest Galadriel pose, which is the new
White Council one.
The new White Council one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Paid £15 for that model on eBay. Ross Tomlinson, he's put, hi guys, do you think the Goblin mercenaries from the film would be a nice addition to the Goblin army because of Goblins' low defence? Plus they were my favourite soldiers from the movie. I think it'd be good to flesh out the Goblin town.
Yeah, just give them a defence 4 unit.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 points, defence 4, just a Goblin.
Yeah, add a point and give them a shield.
Give them an armour.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, yeah, armour. Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. That's that one done. Acthon 39, he says, sorry James for last week's confusion, I wish I had a girlfriend. It was just a horrific typo that I didn't even notice till you read out.
What? You said? He said, well, he said this, on New Year's Eve, he was upstairs painting models and he got called down by his girlfriend for the countdown, which is a bit of, inconvenience really.
Yeah.
I was like, hang on a minute, it's New Year's Eve, you should be downstairs with your girlfriend.
I was in bed.
New Year's Eve is a bit of an anticlimax.
I don't really care about New Year's.
A lot of
Christmas I like, but New Year's I was a bit meh.
Yeah, it's all about Christmas. When you're younger, New Year's is built up to be this like, oh yeah, it's going to be dead good. But because it gets built up and everyone's expectations are high, everyone gets ridiculously drunk and it ends up being very disappointing and very expensive. So much better to stay in, I think. Yeah. I got James to play SBG on New Year's Eve.
Oh, good. Did you get it recorded?
I didn't record it, no. No,
no,
between you and I, it would have been incredibly frustrating.
There's no commitment to the channel there.
It's like, it'd be like doing your homework with your child,
yeah.
or trying to teach your child how to ride a bike.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about. I said last time, you need a 6! How can you not know this? How can you not memorise that chart in 2 seconds? Anyway.
Teaching new players, it can be difficult, I think.
It is.
When you're so used to it.
Even more difficult when they don't care.
Yeah.
That's when it's more difficult. She wasn't bothered. She wasn't bothered. She was like, so what do I need? What should I do? What should I do? I was like, what do you think you should do?
Yeah. It's not.
And she's like, well, I don't know. Should I do this? Well, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Come on, I want you to beat me, so you might want to play again. Yeah. Okay, my first question is this week.
You just jumped on my question.
No, was I not reading it?
I was reading it.
Oh, was it?
Right. Obviously, if I had a girlfriend, I wouldn't ditch for assembling models. My first question this week is whether or not you guys think Games Workshop will want to expand the Hobbit list much as they did for Lord of the Rings. I'm only 15 and wasn't a gamer when Lord of the Rings came out, so this hobby eventually built up upon the years, or are we all doomed with only one good and evil-sided Hobbit forces, unlike the greatly varied list of Lord of the Rings? I look forward to hearing your thoughts. P.S. James, I love your hat.
Well, I'm glad someone does. It just meant I didn't have to do my hair.
Ah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not to the extent that Lord of the Rings was, I don't think. They've done Lord of the Rings. It's there. They've done
And they saw what happened to it because it was massive. It was bigger than what the Hobbit's been.
It was much bigger.
It was much bigger, not just from a gaming point of view, but from a movie franchise point of view. It was much bigger. The Hobbit hasn't had the same kind of explosion, and as a result, we probably won't see the same kind of explosion in models. And yet they also saw what happened to Lord of the Rings after once the movies
after the bubble had burst.
Exactly, and it sank. People stopped supporting their Lord of the Rings hobby. But we can keep this going. Just keep buying models and keep getting to tournaments and find players around you and just keep going, persist. Watch the channel.
It's me again, Acthon39. I've noticed that I've always been leaving 2 comments every week. Well, yeah, you have. Like some sort of strange double loop.
Hang on a minute. That can happen, because this is how this happens. If you leave on your first Speak Friend and Question 2 comments on your first one, I guess you do end up in a double loop.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
How do you get out of a double loop, Jamie? Die.
Some sort of satanic ritual. I don't know.
Think about it.
But I also want to say that giving up fizzy drinks is worth it. That's good. I haven't had one in 7 years. Not for any health reason. I was only 9. No, this doesn't. No, you said you were 15 in the previous comment. If you were 9 when you gave it up for 7 years, you'd be 16. But just to see if I could.
Troll.
Yeah. And I'm quite proud of myself for not breaking the streak. Anyway, I'd feel good to leave a comment this long and not ask you a question. I guess I'm like GBHL James, because I tend to wander off topic a bit. But this question is: for months you guys have been talking about wishing to beef up heroes and profiles. I personally think that Aragorn's fine as fight 6. He'll out-heroic strike anyone any day. But I do worry about the SBG inflation, where one day everyone will be fight 18 and attack 1 million. It won't get that bad. But that's aside. Which models would you most like to see revisited and changed to what? Theoden, the Pelennor, Lurtz and Balrog especially needs beefing up a bit.
Agree.
It's meant to be the servant of Morgoth and the most wretched beast in all of Middle-earth. Definitely Smaug worthy, if not better, lore-wise. What do you both think they should be improved to, and any other profiles you'd like to see changed? Thanks again for your next video, and I'll stay in the loop as long as GBHL is on YouTube.
Fantastic. Yeah, all of the ones that you said there are ones. We were discussing with some of the creeps sort of fight 7 now being sort of like the place to be. Like which fellowship would you change? I said that one that I would definitely change is I think Aragorn should be fight 7.
Yeah, if
Legolas is fight 7. And all Aragorn is the greatest warrior of his age. He's described as that in the book. He is. So with him going to fight 7, I actually would be more of a champion for that. Get this.
Than AMA fight 6.
I would just in context of what's going on with the hobby. He should be fight 7. Glorfindel fight 8 then.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. That's how you scale it.
Well, this is the thing I think we've talked about. I think it was quite a few videos ago, but expanding.
Speak Friend and Question FAQ.
Yeah. Expanding the fight value scale up to 12. So then you can start to get all the proper intermediary things, rather than just blanket everyone at fight 4 is the place you need to be. You could properly then have like goblins fight 2, some men fight 3.
Yeah. Because I think Númenórean should be fight 5 and elves fight 6.
If you were
if you scale
up to 12, yeah. Then sort of your big heroes like Legolas can become fight 7, Aragorn can be fight 8, Glorfindel 9, Balrog 12.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. And then you could even cap your heroic strikes at 10.
Yeah.
So that only sort of, unless you can actually get up there.
Yeah.
You know, some people just can't reach the top mark.
Yeah.
Like a goblin captain will never beat the Balrog.
I'd love to see that. I mean, I don't know if we'd get time to ever do that.
No.
But it would be an interesting thing to do. You know, like as a sort of a friends project.
Yeah.
So let's say one time that let's say we filmed like 10 weeks worth of content in advance, and we're having a bit of a bevy, and maybe Damien's here and Tom, and just go through it all.
Yeah.
And what would we think? It'd be a very interesting night, I think.
Yeah.
We'd have to get very drunk.
Look, if we get drunk, it's like Goblin Captain should definitely be fight 5.
Yeah.
Boromir fight 13. It's a level 12 scale. It's 13 for Boromir.
I think that'd be a good thing to do, and it makes sense as well. 12, especially sort of because then heroic striking doesn't even need to be capped at 10. You can just do your 2d6.
Well, you just do D6. And then
D6, yeah.
Some warriors or some heroes just can't be ever. But they will never be good enough.
They'll never be good enough.
But they can beat other heroes. So
yeah, I think that would be much better, much better. And it would also, I mean, not that heroic strike isn't overpowered, but it would balance that part of the game ever slightly.
Rather than rolling a lucky 6 and going to fight 10. And,
and then you end up with like Aragorn, same fight value as a Goblin Captain, and because he's surrounded, he dies. He dies because his fight value. He gets a 6, doesn't matter. Goes to a roll off.
Goes to evil.
Goes to evil, and he dies through sheer. I say bad luck, but the chances are 50-50 at that point. Yeah. So, okay, so next up we've got who else? But Haldir.
Yep. Jet.
What happened to the rest of Battle of Five Armies Fortnite? Hey, don't look at us. They did it all, didn't they? Did they do 14 videos of content?
I don't think so. Well, if they did, it's not all in the playlist. The playlist has, I think, it's a week's worth. Oh right, okay. I think they've got unboxings to do, but I think because Damien went to Florida, he's not been able to upload them. Maybe I'll find out for you tonight. Yeah, I mean, do expect that, guys, because obviously we try and have an idea about what we want to do. It's like Fallen Realms. We got the 3 videos out of the week, and then it tailed off because we couldn't record the rest of it. We were doing that on New Year's. We were doing it on New Year's Eve, weren't we? Yeah. We were doing it on New Year's Eve, so we literally had 2 more videos to do for that. Yeah. But we just couldn't get them in because we do get pushed for time. So are there any more videos that plan to come out and that haven't yet? I'm sorry if I missed an announcement or something, but I only counted 8 videos that were 8 videos that were there for that time, and I was expecting 14. Yeah, if there's going to be more stuff, it will be added to the playlist as and when. So just keep an eye out on the channel. Make sure you subscribe so you get your email notifications to say, look, that's good. I'm okay, thank you. I do have snacks over there. Snacks. Anyhow, on to the more important question. Who do you guys think is the most powerful in terms of in-game effectiveness of the new profiles? Thranduil, Legolas, Thorin, Dwalin, Azog, Bolg. And could you rate them from most to least effective according to yourselves? That's tough. I'll put Thorin at the bottom. Yeah. Thorin. Because Thorin's just all, I'm saying all, he's got 3 heroic combats, that's his thing. But it doesn't cut it compared to the others. Then it gets tough. Bolg being new Bolg being able to be on a warg is really good. Yeah. We talked about. I think for effectiveness, I personally would put Thranduil and Bolg towards the top. Yeah. Like they'd be contending for the top 2, the top number 1 spot. I think Thranduil's special rule maybe sort of pips him up there. So maybe Thranduil at the top. Then Bolg on what? Now, Legolas and Dwalin. But Legolas has still got his other rule, and he's just become a lot better. And we used to say that he was a game changer character, and surely he's now better. What? Hang on, I'll keep talking. No, okay. Digestive biscuit mode. Push it into my cheeks like a hamster. I think. From looking at new Legolas, I don't think I'd personally take him. Having no Elven Cloak, he can't perform his sit-back, shooty, enemy general role. So he's a mixed up profile for me now. So he's like, right, he's 3 attacks, he's 5'7", I don't want to charge him in because he's 2 attacks, defense 5. 2 wounds, defense 5. I would take him if I was doing all hero. Yeah, I agree, because you'd have Castblind and Light. But in just a list for me, I don't think Legolas has a place like that. Because if I wanted 130 points, big attack character or something like that, I'd pay a bit more, go for Glorfindel. Yeah. He's gonna do it better. Yeah. If I wanted Legolas, I'd keep him cheaper and have the Elven Cloak and sit back and do that with the archers and do that role. I think for me, it would go Thorin, least effective, Legolas, New Dwalin, Azog. Bolg, interesting between Dwalin and Azog. Yeah. I mean, Azog's such a good hero killer. That's the thing that Azog can do it to troops. He's still strength 5. Did he get a defense buff with the new rules? I don't think he did. Then Dwalin can do it as well, but Azog's got the white warg. Yeah. So he's got 6 might. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So what are we saying? We're saying Commander or top.
Yep.
Saying Bolg next.
Bolg on a Warg.
Bolg on a Warg, yeah.
Azog on a White Warg.
Azog on a White Warg.
Dwalin Legolas Thorn.
Very interesting. Wow. If you agree with us, comment below. If you don't, comment below. Get involved in the discussion. So he's carried on here. He's put how dear said again. Actually, I have another question. Do you think we will get an explanation as to the disappearing elves at the Battle of Five Armies? I'm referring to the majority of the elven army, which must have been on the field in front of Erebor, but somehow disappeared when the dwarves were falling back to the mountain.
Didn't they go back to Dale? Oh, Dale and died, I assume. If you want to make a fluffy reason.
Oh, maybe there. That'd be quite interesting. That'd be quite interesting to see that shot. You know, on the DVD, like from you know when they look out and it's just elves, to that point when the dwarves arrive and it's some elves.
A little line.
Yeah. I don't know. Can't answer that. So next up we've got Quinn Burmeyer.
Hey guys, my question this week is: if Games Workshop released a new Dane Ironfoot model to coincide with the Battle of the Five Armies, what do you think his stat line should be? What kind of special powers would you give him? Thanks again, Quinn.
Well, we don't see that much of him in the movie, do we?
I think he'd still be fight 6. I don't think he'll be fight 7.
No.
I think he'll be fight 6, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, defense 8 or 9. Maybe defense 8. Dane's defense 9 in the.
I think we defense 8, yeah.
Okay.
I think the big plus for him will be the fact that he can. I think he'll be burly.
Yeah.
And because he can be mounted on this pig thing or whatever he's.
I reckon this pig will be like.
In fact, he's a dwarf hero that can be mounted, and he's quite a powerful dwarf hero that can be mounted. That would be the plus.
Maybe get a special rule fighting on foot to show his headbutt attacks. But like something like that, like an extra attack or something.
Maybe,
or,
yeah.
You know.
Because that's becoming a bit popular now, isn't it?
Yeah. Or maybe if he's beaten in a fight, or for every model, a bit like the Tainted's rule. For every model in base contact with him, he does like a hit on them on a 6 or something.
Oh right, yeah.
To indicate, no.
Yeah, something like that. That'd be quite cool. I'm fingers crossed for that profile and for the model. I'm sure it'd be a very cool model. Because this is what I was saying last week. You know, we were talking about some of the things from Battle of Five Armies and whether they're going to get made or not. And of course, we don't know. We know as much as you guys do. But I can only imagine sculptors and designers and like game designers. They're still geeks. Like Games Workshop won't be a business, but they're still geeks like us.
Yeah.
I can imagine them really wanting to do those models.
Yeah.
Like really wanting to do them. So
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Chris Murphy, our friend up in Scotland.
Yeah. It's you. And it's me. Happy belated birthday to Jane. My question is to you guys. What do you think will finish? Who do you think will finish the top 5 Great British Hobbit League 2015?
I'm willing to bet you £1 million that it won't be me.
I have no idea.
You said you wanted top 5?
I'm going for top 5, but I don't think I'll get it.
I wonder if we'll have some kind of new breakthrough this year because obviously the league has expanded.
I think we'll see a different top 5. Like I know 2013, 2014 had very similar names at the top. Might still get the sort of similar names, but I think the top 10 will all mix up a bit.
Yeah, I think
so.
So
Damien and I have said we're not going to try to compete massively. We're going to take some.
All it's going to take is a surprise result to
I know,
tempt you back into it.
I know.
You go to this tournament and you'll come 3rd or something. You'll be like, do you know what? That's actually quite a good start. And I brought rubbish. Right, what if I did this list?
What if I brought the elves? No. I've got a few sort of jokey forces planned for the next few tournaments.
You've got your Dunlans you want to use, haven't you?
Yeah, the Dunlans they'll get run out one time. I think it's going to be Rohan for this one, no Mike Angmar for the next.
Cool.
Then I'll probably take the Dunlan to a smallish tournament. And then the thing that'll tempt me to bring the elves out will be if there's a good prize on offer.
Yeah, because you're missing the sword.
Missing Glamdring.
Oh dear.
Because I didn't win it in Scotland.
No, and you couldn't win it at our tournament.
Well, a proper letter.
Yeah, the proper one.
Not the so I've got a silver sting somewhere.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a gift from the housemaid.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be a bit different, and I'm really hoping that a ton of you are going to get involved in it. It's going to be absolutely booming, and I want to hear tales on the Facebook page and on the YouTube channel about just how awesome the tournaments have been. It'll make me really miss it.
That's
Let's go, look, Jane, look what I'm missing. Yeah, I know I'm in Florida, we're on a honeymoon, but look.
I have to pressure Damien into doing a after tournament review, because I was setting off on the Monday morning.
After tournament review? What do you mean?
Well, yeah, like doing the tournament review the day of the tournament. Because I'm staying over Sunday night, but I'm going
doing it straight away.
Alright, we're home, Damien. Alright,
let's go. So work mode. Work mode. Let's do it. Content. We need it. So next up we've got Mabbers 290. Sorry for missing an episode. I was very busy and now I'm engaged.
Congratulations.
Good luck. Good luck. Anyway, my question is regarding the Rivendell Knights. Do you have to glue the shield to the model for it to count as having one equipped? I personally think it hides too much, so I've left them off for now. But if tournaments require them for the +1 to defence, then I'll have to change my stance.
You see, this is... I know we have a no blue tack rule, but this is where I think blue tack should be allowed.
What,
like
shields?
If there's a part of me, like, for shields that you don't want on the model, then just.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Because people magnetise models.
Yeah.
And like blue tack is like a more primitive magnet.
Yeah. That's one way to put it.
That's a quote of 2015.
It's more like a primitive magnet. But
you put one on one bit, put it together, and it sticks.
But I think blue tack or white tack should be allowed for shields, because it's not like you are gaining an in-game advantage, but it's not like you're doing it for the wrong reason. It's there and it's a possible thing that you can do.
So we're looking at the sliding scale here, and the reason why there is a no blue tack rule is because people can sometimes take warriors which they don't want to make the effort in converting, and like blue tack
axes.
Yeah, like blue tack an axe to them, or blue tack a cocktail stick to them, or something like that. To say it's got a spear.
It's like you've made literally the least amount of effort possible. You've got, and it's not even like they've tried to hide the fact it's a cocktail stick by painting it, or hide the fact it's blue tack target. It's literally just a blob of blue tack, cocktail stick. He's got a spear on his back now. And it looks awful. Yeah. It looks awful. So shields on the Rivendell Knights. Now, I think that if all of them haven't got a shield on, then you could say they've all got shields.
They've all got shields. Yeah. Because they've got it as part of their war gear, and
No, they don't. Shield's optional.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. But
yeah.
That's what I mean. It's optional, and as long as you're making it clear to your opponent, they've all got shields.
They're all
they've all got shields. I think at a tournament you wouldn't have any problems with that. No. But paint up the shields anyway, and maybe find a way of attaching them.
Pin them, maybe.
You could do, couldn't you? I was just thinking that.
You've
got a hole on the model.
You've got a hole in your model then. It'd be like having to ride a Roham without a shield, where they've got like that big bulbous blob.
That would be a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
I wonder what Damien thinks. I wonder what Damien thinks. Be interesting.
Yeah.
Right. A second question, due to missing a week. Would you rather take Mirkwood Armoured Swordsmen, or would you take Palace Guards with swords? Happy New Year, guys. Good luck with your wedding planning, James. Thank you very much. And well done for giving up fizzy drinks, Jamie. I feel your pain. Me and Jane have joined you.
Good.
I'm not drinking fizzy drinks. Jane probably will on the honeymoon and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm very like, boom, say something, let's do it. Mirkwood Armoured Swordsman or Palace Guard with swords?
It's the points difference is what you're going for there. And if you have Thrander than the Force, they count as a... I'd probably take the Palace. If I had to... I don't know. Just because you get so many more Mirkwood Armoured Swordsmen the more you put in. But if it's a straight up pick one, it's Palace Guard with swords.
Yeah.
Because you've got the defence 5.
Yeah.
So it's your native defence.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, this is like 1 versus 1. Of course, you go for Palace Guard, don't you?
And the opportunity to go to fight 6 is pretty decent, and you're bodyguarded. So.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things in there that can sway that. Is Thranduil leading them? That's a key thing. Okay, so next up
we've got the Avatar of Odin.
Oh,
But he's not got an avatar. It's just the.
You need to get that sorted out. You
Yeah.
need an avatar of Odin to justify your name. Sort your avatar out.
How do you guys go about developing an army list for a tournament? Would you first select a few heroes, get warriors for them to lead, and use leftover points to upgrade some guys, or give additional equipment? Build a list one warband at a time. Is there a minimum number of models, might points and or bows you'd be aiming at for specific points levels? How heavily would you take the expected opponents or scenarios into consideration? And finally, do all the above questions mean I don't have to ask another question for the next 5 weeks?
No.
No.
You've not heard the loop rules?
Right, so the most important is what scenarios are going to be there for me.
It's for you. You're very experienced. I would say that someone who was coming into it at first,
Yeah.
that's probably not how they would start doing
No.
it. But that's the more that you go, the more you start thinking like, right, okay, so what are we going to be playing?
Yeah.
To the destiny.
How would we develop an army list for a tournament? So I'd look at firstly the scenarios and think, what are the ending scenarios and how can I write a list that will win them, because they're going to be your toughest games if you're going for it.
Yeah.
So scenarios and also expected opponents. You know, on the top tables last year, I was always expecting to see sort of Damien, Ed, or just someone else. No. Sorry. No, not last game. Maybe in a few beforehand. So Damien and Ed were my two sort of. Yes, the Woses I think can beat Damien's force.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I think the elf side of it could have beat Eds.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to call them El Beasts. That's a mix up. I think they could have, if I was having a game in head on and got a bit of luck. So that was always something that was in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can I counter my biggest opponents?
Yeah.
What else was there? Is there a minimum number of models, might points and no bows you'd be aiming at? Oh, I always take 33%, if possible.
If you're going to take bows, commit to it.
Yeah, you don't take 2 bows. You take the...
You either take none or everything you can take.
Yeah, exactly. My points... Well, this is what Ian Marley always faced me on, because I commented ages ago, and I had my mind in the old rule set, where, one hero could lead 60 troops.
Yeah.
And it used to be 1 might point per 100 points as a minimum. It doesn't work now because you get 2-3 might point heroes at 500 points and you've already beaten that.
Yeah.
It doesn't work the same. But as much might as possible without sacrificing numbers.
Yeah, I think you kind of look at it, don't you, and you say like 500 points. You're going to have most people are going to have between 2 and 3 warbands.
Yeah.
Depending. So therefore, if they're taking biggish heroes, you're going to be working at something between 5 and 9 might maybe, and you kind of work it out. And obviously there are anomalies in that.
Yeah.
So you want to just kind of make sure you're in there.
You're in that.
People do think about how many the number of troops. That's quite a key factor. What's
your break point? How quick can you be brought down to it for scenario ending conditions? And what's 25%? If you're at 25%, do you still have the numbers to hold the central objectives for certain things and whatnot?
Yeah, that's a big consideration, and you'll hear it a lot when you go onto forums like the One Ring where people put up army lists. Is like there's too few models for that points cost. So, what is it? Is it 27 to 30 that people say for 500 points is kind of your minimum?
Yeah.
Your minimum number to aim, but other things have gone against that.
Depends on your force, and what kind of heroes would you choose? Typically for me, I don't know whether you do the same, but you classify what your might from the heroes is to be used for. So you've got might that's got a purpose. Oh, my hand's gone well far off. So you've got might that's for a purpose, and you've got might that's for use on anything that needs to be used on.
Yeah, I do that.
So you've got your might with a purpose and your expendable might. For me, Legolas has always got might for a purpose, to boost wound rolls. Mm-hmm. And then Rumil, Galadriel, Gombrigon more so, have the throwaway might that you've called a heroic move, I'll call a heroic move.
Yeah.
And
they do exactly the same with the Rohan. Yeah. Because you've got Eowyn.
Erkenbrand and Eowyn will be your sort of, I'll counter your heroics, and Eowyn is there for combats and strikes.
Combats and strikes, yeah. Heroic combats and strikes. Erkenbrand will try and do that on the first charge.
Yeah.
Or maybe try and pin down a hero or something. and then yeah, expendable might. That's a good way of thinking about it. So yeah, there's so many different factors. But writing army lists is one of the joys of this hobby. So just write. You should end up with, you know, drawers full of little postage notes, like I have of.
Also, I'm downloading an Excel spreadsheet, and I actually miss sometimes just handwriting my lists and doing the maths and working out, because that always went really fun. When you're in Excel, it's like that warrior. No, you just kind of fill your numbers, and you eventually get.
It's too clinical. You're removing the soul from the process.
Yeah. Well. Got me 4th place, didn't it?
Yeah. It did. Right. So
you got Al Wood.
Al Wood. He's put, thanks James for answering my question. It's a pleasure. Can I start with a friendly warning?
No.
Oh dear. Both you and Jamie created this channel to encourage others to play Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and both said from the outset that the Hobbit hobby is your way of relaxing. I've seen too many people share their hobby on YouTube only for it to become too stressful and the hobby no longer their refuge from the stresses of life. I really do appreciate what you are doing for our subscribers, but please ensure that it's still a hobby for you, and I don't want the Hobbit hobby to become a Morgoth nightmare. I would say it's still a...
That's still a hobby.
We enjoy doing this. We do enjoy it.
This is my hobby.
Do you know what though? I mean, it's good if you can. So, for example, my work, what I do for a living, it's my hobby. You know, fitness, keeping people fit. It's my interest, and I've turned that into work. And of course, sometimes it's stressful, and of course, sometimes it's hard work. But it's worthwhile at the end of it because I enjoy doing it. And sometimes that's the same of course with this.
So I wouldn't say we get stressed out at this though.
No.
Only on the rarest of occasion.
Yeah. Yeah. Out of 1,000 occasions, you're talking 999 times, we are having a great time. So, but thanks for your concerns. That's not people care. At least you're not getting on there. This is not good enough. Where's our content? Well, it's doing a Billy Fitzmaurice. A Saturday no content day, is it? No, do you not do content there? No. My question this week: have you guys ever been to the Eagle and Child in Oxford?
No.
What's the Eagle and Child?
I assume it's a pub, maybe.
Is it a child? I went there last year.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. I went there last year to sup ale, and as I walked in through the door, there was a notice that read, "It comes in pints?" ? Yet the pub was a favourite of Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, and others who called themselves the Inklings. Is it the one that's got the? It's got like a plaque outside. I think it might be. And they were sitting in the green room having an ale and a pie. I would thoroughly recommend it. Should we do it? Tom Harrison's down that way.
Oh yeah. So
Vista and my auntie lives down there.
We can all just go crash at Tom Harrison's.
Yeah, we'll just
Well
go.
invited.
Just don't tell him.
Just knock up.
Lily's really nice.
Just like
she won't mind.
One at a time, different coloured hoods.
Yeah.
Whip out some instruments.
Jamie Giblin at your service. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm not going to touch that just in case I get it wrong. Thanks for your question, buddy.
Yeah. Dr. Dan, he says, hello gents, I was wondering what your thoughts are on Knights of Dalamroth and the competitiveness of a fiefdoms overall, and also how do most tournaments view proxies of models which offer the same character, e.g. would AOA Marshal of the Riddermark be okay as a proxy for the now out of production Knight of the Pelennor? Thanks for your good work. If you want to know how Dalamroth, what we think of them, go check out our, Kingdoms of Men week and check fiefdoms, and we discuss all the troops and all the heroes and
in huge detail.
Yeah.
Fiefdoms has got a lot going for it.
Yeah, it has.
But there are a couple of little drawbacks.
Yeah.
But very good army.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good army. Go and check out that video. And in terms of proxies and models, same character.
It depends entirely on the tournament organiser.
Of course it does. Because there are some that are on a slightly scale.
Yeah. Some that are very lenient. You know, the rule of cool. If it looks the part, yeah, sure. For Games Workshop, they say if we've produced a model for it, you have to use it, even though it's out of production now. You know, tough luck, basically.
I mean, there's never really been problems with things like Legolas, you know, whether he's got armour or not and stuff like that, as there.
But this is a huge profile change.
Yeah. Well, like Emma Marshall. So, for example, I've got Knight of the Pelennor. Terrified of ruining it from a painting point of view.
Yeah.
I've got the Knight of the Pelennor model. You know, he's all primed up. I've started painting him, but just not finished it. And I use what you would call the Marshal of the Riddermark model. But he's got a shield on it, so that you know that it's.
He's got his shield.
He's got his shield on it, so you know it's Knight of the Pelennor.
Did you sculpt the cloak on him? Or did he come with a cloak?
I didn't come with a cloak. An elven cloak.
No.
No, he hasn't got a cloak on him.
Did you sculpt one on him?
No.
Okay. I thought you did.
No, I mean, I picked up as part of a job lot, obviously another person who'd had the same kind of thinking, and he put his AMR, you know, the helmeted model, he'd put just a normal Rohan shield on it, and he put it on one of Theoden's armoured horses, because of course the armoured horse is the key bit, and that's the bit that I don't have on my one. So, you know, technically it's, you know, it is a proxy, isn't it? So yeah, it depends which tournament you go to. So always ask before you go. Most people are reasonable.
Yeah.
On stuff like that. So next up we've got Callum Winfield. He's put, hi, great vid. I've been out of the hobby for a year and a half, but I just got back in and I was wondering when the next Desolation of Stockport event was going to happen, if you have it planned. Thank you.
25th and 26th of April, we got it booked in with Darren. Is it that weekend? Yeah, the 25th and the 26th.
Very excited. That's going to be a cool event, guys.
I've got that off work as well.
Woohoo!
I
presume I have.
I put all my holiday requests in up until sort of July when the tournament schedule's made up for. And I was like, I want all these weekends off, please.
And then you need obviously to do the same for the second half. You don't want a situation
like last time.
Oh,
I know.
That's sad.
But I have reduced the number of tournaments I'm going to this year. So.
How many are you doing this year?
I think I'm going to try and limit myself to 8.
8's a fair number, isn't it?
But not including the ones that we
Yeah. So yeah, make sure you get yourself down to that. It's going to be good fun. Details will be coming up soon on the Great British Hobbit League Facebook group.
Yeah. Next up we got Haltorian. He says, hey guys, I wanted to know your thoughts on the Kingsguard upgrade Gilglad unlocks for the High Elves. 1 point for Flight 6 seems invaluable for taking on enemy low-level heroes, but I know spread across a warband it adds up. It looks like my last Alliance force will be led by Gilglad, but I might swap him for Elrond if I'm not taking Kingsguard.
I've been thinking about this recently.
Kingsguard are good. I think they're well worth that point upgrade.
Even if you take like 3 and you've got a way of sort of deterring them, and you take them with an Elven blade, I think it's a really good way of turning it.
I think I think with spears.
Oh, to support behind
and they play the Gladron Guard role.
Yeah, you can do that.
Where you guys at the front have the Elven blades and can get in and not really care about their lives too much, and these guys are sat back, giving their Fight 6 continually.
Yeah, you can do that, of course. And then I was thinking more for the Elven blade, for the roll, for the...
But then if the guy in front has an Elven blade...
Oh, so that's still...
still an effect.
Still counts, right, okay.
That way as well, the guys in front can feint with their Elven blade.
Yeah.
And not sacrifice their Fight 6.
I think the mistake that some people make when they... Because I know that I did it when I was first getting in the hobby, when you start doing it, is you think you've got to do it...
Everyone!
Yeah, give it to everyone, then it becomes really expensive across the whole thing.
So then you've got 12 points, 24, 36, you're like, oh, I want 3 more models.
But if you do it for a couple, I think it's well worth it.
Scattering of Kingsguard, yeah.
Yeah. Fight 6. So very, very good. Very, very good. Next up we've got Scott Johnson. He's put, hi guys, I was lucky enough to get Azog foot and mounted for Christmas. Lucky you. Just wondering if there is a community accepted way to represent the White Warg once Azog has been dismounted. I'm thinking of painting a standard Fel Warg, the same scheme as the White Warg. Would this be okay? I think so.
Yeah.
And should I mount it on a 50mm base or the standard 40mm Warg base? I guess the same question applies for Bolg too. Thanks as always. You want the bigger base?
You need a bigger base. You should. You're fine to go up your base sizes, but you should never go down. Really.
Yeah, and I have heard that you can contact Games Workshop. I have heard.
Yeah, don't quote us.
Don't quote us.
And ask for a spare, is it?
Yeah, you can say, do you have a spare? Because it's a special base that you can't really get hold of unless you're getting the models. So that might be worth checking out. Yeah. Some people use the Wild Warg Chieftain.
Yeah, because he's got a sort of big hulking thing to him, hasn't he? Dave Egan says, hello again, whoever reads this. Hi Dave, thanks for destroying me a bit. Firstly, well done on reaching another milestone, 2,500 subscribers now. Yay!
Hi guys! The jokes that just keep on giving.
Yeah. Jamie, this part is for James. Skip down to the next paragraph. If you want to read the first one, and I'll get the big
I forgot to say in my comment, James, that I'm really enjoying your training routine. Of course. I feel the increase in my upper body strength and endurance, and my running has also improved. If anybody would like to contact me, he's put in, so here's the latest news. I'll be going up to Belfast on the 12th of February for my interview and medical. Good luck, buddy. He's put, so I'm assuming the pre-joining fitness test will be at the end of February, early March. Good stuff. Keep on going, buddy. Back in it.
Yeah.
David.
Yeah. Okay, so what is
that just reminded me a little bit of a Palantir sketch that we were involved in.
So what is the closest and most bloodiest game you've ever had? Do you want to do yours first? Well, I've got one.
I'll go for it. Okay. Go for it.
Right, mine was against Simon Grant in an old scenario called Ill Met by Moonlight. And in this, shooting was reduced to a 12-inch range. You got -1 to hit, but +1 to wound. And I had a full prowler front line against a wood elf army, and so for me it was 5s to hit, but 3s to wound. So with the throwing weapons, and this is when obviously there was no move or shoot penalty, and it came down like this was a weird scenario because to get the major victory you had to wipe out your opponents.
Right.
And he had something like 60 elves, Haldir and Legolas, and I had just like the Shadow Lord, Durbers and a bunch of goblins. But he sat right up close to me, like we're gonna have a scrap straight away. I was like, I don't know if I like this. But he had throw weapons as well, but I had the Shadow Lord, so I felt a bit confident. But the game went really, really well for both of us at different points. Like my throw weapons on the charge were devastating because they would just kill if they hit, basically, because it was 3 to kill.
Yeah.
And it all came down to I think the game ended with I had about 4 goblins left, and he had this one wood elf that was running away. My goblins passed their courage test. One of them was a prowler, and he chased after this wood elf. And we had this one last turn before time was called, and I had one throw weapon to try and kill this elf to go from minor victory to major victory, and he did it. And it was
yes!
It was like my goblin force wasn't small either. It was sort of like a high 60 number. So over 100 models died. It was like, oh god, just get this damn elf! I still remember it as one of my favourite games because obviously that last roll
had so much on it.
So much on that one roll,
and
it went my way, which is why I remember it as a great game rather than remember it as a damn, I was so close game.
Yeah. See, because that's the thing with, I'm thinking what's the closest, but I'm thinking of a lot of games where I've been smashed and sort of pulled victory from the jaws of defeat. Those are the ones that are coming into my mind. So the one versus James Bond at Huddersfield comes to mind. I mean, wow, I was getting destroyed.
You fluked it.
Fluked it. No, proper fluked it. And that was my Rivendell Knights, 5 of them and a captain, Ale, 5 Sons of Ale. And he had an all-hero force, didn't he? He had Arwen, Twins and Saruman, the White. And I was getting absolutely smashed. I was literally I wasn't that far away from 25%, that's why it was really close. And I think his Arwen died, one of his twins died, and it was a massive point swing on the last roll.
Didn't you kill Saruman?
I killed Saruman.
Because you said that you have to charge him.
Which broke him and killed his leader.
General,
That's right. So that was pretty bloody. But there weren't tons of models involved in that. I think there was my To the Death game versus Charles. Not To the Death. My Seize the Prize game versus Charles at Stirling. Like that was pretty bloody.
Yeah.
He had his Haradrim. My Rohan don't do very well versus Haradrim, I'm learning. And yeah, he was just. I had literally Erkenbrand and a couple of other things left at the end. And luckily, Erkenbrand had the prize, and another turn, and I probably would have lost, to be honest. But because of all the cavalry charges, because he was quite soft, a lot died. So
lots died quick.
Lots died quick. So yeah, that was pretty close. Yeah, quite a few in there.
So for Dave, it was a 400-point To the Death game, the old-fashioned way, not down 25%, but to the very end. The game ended when one side had been wiped out to the last model. Yeah, quite a lot of the old scenarios ended like when a force was wiped.
That's cool.
I had Lurts, 10 Berserkers, 12 Uruk Pikemen and 6 Uruk Crossbowmen. My opponent had Eristor with 30 High Elf Warriors, 10 Spear, 10 Bow, 10 Blades. This is obviously back when you could have one hero leading any amounts. We deployed some distance apart. My opponent stood his ground and shot at me while I advanced full speed with all but the crossbows. The crossbows were minced out of it by the Elf Archers, which they would be. Then the Uruks and Elves clashed in combat, and it was very brutal and bloody. Though the Uruks had the advantage thanks to the Berserkers, Lurtz and Eristor were both slain. It eventually came to just 2 Berserkers left against 4 Elves. 1 Berserker against 3 Elves, while the other Berserker faced the 4th Elf. The Berserkers won their combat, and between them killed 3 Elves. The last remaining Elf was a Spearman who had been shielding the entire game. He just simply wouldn't die. So I won the next priority and then rolled Snake Eyes for one of the Berserker's courage test, and he was gone. So now it was just 1 Elf and a Berserker left. My opponent tried running away and shielding for a few turns, hoping that I'd fail my courage test, until he remembered I had a higher courage. Steele finally stopped cowering behind his shield and decided to fight. He rolled a 6 to win and a 6 to wound. Bam! Game over. That's the closest and most bloodiest game I've ever had.
One model versus one model. Wow. Yeah, I guess you don't get that with the new scenarios, do you?
No, it's not so much.
I'll tell you what, the actual bloodiest game that I've had probably isn't the Lord of it. It's the first time I played 40k.
Oh yeah, it's just like, oh, I drop a grenade, take your unit off.
That is a bloody game.
Okay, I'll take that off.
The game ended. Like, it started off, we had all these tanks and stuff, and all these like men with chain swords.
Yeah. Turn 1, I have to take the tank off. And that exploded, so it kills this unit.
It's like, right, so I need 2s on these dice, bucket of dice. Okay, so yeah, most of them.
Okay, I need 3s on this dice to save them.
That's pretty much what the game was like.
I was like, okay.
It finished with one of my models. It was pretty awesome, I have to say. It's pretty awesome. I haven't played since.
Yeah, 4K is alright. You've got to play it over with a beer in hand and just not.
You got to take it for what it is. You can't play that game competitively, surely.
No, well, the people do, and that's kind of scary.
Is that the last? Is this the second last two questions?
Last 2 questions.
Wow. Camille Demansky. He's put, hi guys, I'm finally back. I've missed you. We've missed you too. He's put, I didn't see any of your vids, so I've got lots to watch. Fantastic. No question this week because I'm still in holiday mood.
It's not the holidays anymore. There's no what.
Back in work now. Come on, speak when in question. He's put, I'll see you on Sunday. It's good to be back. You'll never walk alone.
Yeah, see you on Sunday. We'll see you today. See you yesterday.
I won't have a beer on me, pal.
Yeah.
So next up, final question. Speak when in question. Number 55.
We got William Farquharson. Is that you?
I think so.
Hi guys, last week I asked my first question on Speak Friendly Question, and in that same video someone said that they were from Vienna, which is where I am from. What a coincidence. I'll make sure to message that person, so thanks for another week of content and possibly for finding me a new SBG player in my area. Yeah! It's like a really rubbish matchmakers.
Hobbit SBG dating. No.
Now for the question. What do you think would be the best way to transport figures whilst flying? Obviously some sort of carry case, but as hand luggage or regular luggage. Obviously I prefer to keep them with me, but I don't want that security thing taking them off me. They might think I plan to use my Honorian's little spears to take over the plane.
Can you imagine that? Let me in the cockpit!
Have you not heard about the heist that was used with it was like a dairy milk wrapper, but they twisted it up.
Really?
And got behind someone and was like, let me in. And the person thought, oh god, he's got a knife. Because you know, you make it that hard. And it was all just fake, everything they did to get to the cockpit.
See, I think what you need is a newspaper. Have you heard of a Millwall brick?
Just where you stab it into the...
No, if you roll up a new... Oh, shouldn't be now. Don't.
Okay.
I'm not going to continue giving... I'll tell you after.
What would be the best way to transport figures whilst flying? I think I've taken figures abroad in a case. I think I took them to paint whilst on holiday. I just took them in. I was worried about them being taken off me, but I just took them in my carry case and it was fine.
Yeah, they're just gonna, as it goes, they're just gonna see it.
They're like, what a weirdo.
Geek. That's the only thing you gotta worry about, I think. Just make sure
I know I took it to. Did I take it to?
I'd have it hand luggage. Personally.
Have it hand luggage. Don't let the handlers throw it around. Your thing breaks and your models fly everywhere and they're like...
Can you imagine?
No.
You get to the other...
What happened? Yeah, I think it's when I went to Ireland. I think I lugged my case around with me.
Right, okay.
And it went through Ryanair's security. That's the only time I've taken it away.
Yeah.
It's not been...
Well, that's right, because when you...
So I was going to go meet the guys on Ireland, but didn't have time to in the end. So I was like, I've got this stupid case with me. And carrying it around, like, smacking against my knee. But yeah, they were fine with it. But then it was Ryanair, so...
We've got a ton of guys who've travelled over to our tournaments before who probably have to give you some good advice, so maybe they'll put a comment in the next Speak Friendly Question. Your question is the last of this episode of Speak Friendly Question. We hope you guys enjoyed it.
Farquharson.
I wonder if he's a relative of Lord Farquhar. How tall are you?
How tall are you?
How tall are you?
Do you live in a magical land? You live in Vienna, so no.
Are you massively racist towards gingerbread men?
Yeah.
Just saying. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Good to be back together.
Yep.
Good luck at your tournament this weekend. Say hello to everybody from me. I am going to.
I will not.
Oh, please do. Please.
James said he hates you all, that's why he's not coming down.
Something like that. Yeah. Or not. So as always, guys, make sure that you comment, like, share and subscribe.
Support your Hobbit hobby, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Happy strategy battle gaming, guys.